Hi, I'm Gavin Evans from South Wales in the UK, and today I'd like to discuss my hair loss story with you, how hair loss has affected me over the years, and what I'm finally planning to do in October of 2022 to put a close to the chapter for the very last time. So to start with, I'd like to head back 31 years to when I was just 17, and I became completely aware that my hair was receding. But at that time, nobody had actually pointed this out to me, thankfully. Until one day I was over at a good friend's house, and James's mother had a hairdressing salon at the back of their home. And James used to get the clippers, and he used to shave down the sides of my hair, up the back, leaving the top long in this sort of overhang look, which was apparently a style in the early 90s. Now one day, while James was doing this for me, he said those words that have stuck with me for the rest of my life. And they were, "Gav, do you know you're losing your hair?" And I thought, yes, of course I'm losing my hair, even though I couldn't openly say this. And then moving on 3 years, I was with my then girlfriend Sarah, and I remember stepping out of the shower, and although my hair was towel dried, it was still fairly damp, and she looked at me and she goes, "Gosh, Gav, you're losing your hair." And just to make things worse, she added, "And you'll probably be completely bald by the time you're 30. And I just thought, my gosh, how hurtful could somebody be? Well, moving on into my 20s, I used to even focus on weather forecasts the night before if I was planning on heading out the day after, for whatever reason, heading to the shops, heading to college, to uni, because I absolutely despised it if there was going to be strong wind or, God forbid, rain, because the minute the wind blew and my then middle parting with curtains would blow up, exposing my, at that time heavily receding hairline. And again, if it got wet, completely exposed immediately. But as time moves on, other things came into my life, career, university, getting into the property market, and these things started to sort of take my mind away from my hair loss to a certain degree. And also, I started discovering caps, and before I knew it, baseball caps became an integral part of my wardrobe, and have done until this very day. And the thought of stepping out of the house without a baseball cap on was pretty much just not even a consideration. But then, moving on to 2021, I was on a holiday, and someone was recording me, just doing a short video clip, and I didn't have my hat on, and they just caught me at a certain angle. It was from side on, and they played back the recording to me, and to me it just looked like literally half of my head was without hair, and it just, to me, looked ugly, and it made me, in my opinion, look old. And at that point, I just thought, I've got to start researching some sort of solution to this problem. So living in South Wales in the UK, the nearest hair transplant clinic to where I live is in Cardiff. So I set up an online consultation with the company there, and they came up with a ballpark figure that they believed would give me a good coverage on my hair, to give me back some sort of hairline that would be appropriate for my 48 years. And when the price came through, I almost fell off my chair, because they wanted £11,000. So of course, for me, that was simply out of the question. Just a price that was, far beyond what I could possibly consider spending. Now, I'd heard for quite some time that there was a big sort of transition to people heading overseas to get hair transplants, because they could still get top expertise doing these transplant surgeries at a fraction of the cost. And I knew that Turkey was a big destination for this sort of medical tourism. And it just so happens that I'm also married to a Turkish lady and have been for 7 years. And I therefore decided to start researching hair transplant clinics near to where my mother-in-law lives, in Izmir on the west coast of Turkey. So I started looking at the viable options, and I finally whittled it down to 3, and ultimately down to just the one, and made contact with the company in question, a company called Medical Hair in Izmir in Turkey. And I was very happy with what they had to say, and very happy with the reviews that I saw online, and also the Instagram pictures before and after that I'd seen, the day of the operation, 6 months post-operation, and up to 12 months post-operation, and the successes were incredible. So my wife and I decided that it was the right thing to do, to give me back that sort of confidence and happiness that I think, frankly, I deserve as a 48-year-old guy. So right now I'm talking to you from my mother-in-law's house in Izmir in Turkey, and my wife and I flew over yesterday. Tomorrow, the 19th of October, I'm actually going to see Sibyl Ulusan at Medical Hair to have my first face-to-face consultation. And the following day, the 20th of October, I'll actually be having the procedure. So I'm very, very much looking forward to this. Now, this is the very first of the videos that I'm going to be putting up, because I'm actually planning to document the day of the operation, to show exactly what they've done, and then subsequent videos to show how the actual hair transplant surgery has succeeded over time. So I'm going to be doing videos every few months down the line. Now I'm doing this not just for the sort of just to show people what's happening with me. I realise that there's a lot of guys out there in exactly the same position to me, and are not happy with the way things are looking, the status of their hair. And I just want to show people that there is a solution, and more importantly, I want to almost offer myself as a form of contact for people who have any questions. Although I'm not a medical practitioner, I'm a guy who has gone through this for many, many years, so really can empathise with a lot of you guys out there. So I'm more than open to people commenting, sending me questions if you've got any, and I'd really like to hopefully be that little bit of inspiration that can get you guys to also move forward and get yourself back to a place that would make you happy too. So this is Gavin Evans in Izmir in Turkey, wishing you every success with your hair transplant surgeries or just hair transformations. So take care, and hopefully we'll be in touch soon.